Guess who's back? I'm back. What's up, guys? It's your boy Yaron, and you're watching the Yaron Show. Wait, I don't know why I'm wearing this shirt, and it's still summer. So hold on a sec. You know what? Watch the intro. What's up, guys? It's your boy Yaron, and you're what was that? What's up, guys? It's your boy Yaron, and you're watching the Yaron Show, episode 5. That's more like it. The other one was just my chair was I don't know what that was. Anyways, let's forget about that. What's up, guys? I'm back. I know I haven't been on for a long time. I just went to Israel last month, so it's been crazy. I mean, here is what it looks like while I was gone. It was quite an adventure. Just going to different places. It was amazing. But let me just say, it was a long summer. Um, I went to the beach a lot of times. Hang out with some family there. It was good. It was pretty good. I had to forget about a couple of things from what was going on from our team, because we didn't have we don't have Kevin Durant or Kyrie, but let's forget about that for a little bit. Anyways, I mean, okay, got back and here I am making the video right now. Episode 5, really long time. I feel like I haven't been doing the show for maybe 4 months. But anyways, guys, I'm back. Let's get the show on the road. So, we have finally got some puzzle pieces that we did not expect. We haven't got the puzzle pieces that we wanted, but you know what? It's not a bad puzzle piece because a lot of fans, a lot of people say, oh, you know what? The Knicks are not going to be as good as the Brooklyn Nets because they got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, which is an absolutely false statement. Um, but you know what? It is what it is. The, the, the reason why I'm thinking about that is because, first of all, now that team is just gonna, like, ugh, I just can't even talk about them, because, first of all, everyone is like, oh, now you're gonna see more Nets fans than Knicks fans, and I'm just like, F you, man, F you. Put your head on a brick wall. That's what we say in Hebrew. Put your head on a brick wall. If you don't believe in the process, just put it on the, you know, put your head on a wall. Talk to the wall. Like, don't talk to me and be like, oh yeah, we got Kevin Durant, we got this. No, 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 no. You have Kevin Durant, you have Kyrie Irving. Good, good. You even have DeAndre Jordan. Perfect. He did play with us last year, but whatever. He decided to go there. Am I sad? Yes, I'm sad, but I don't want to think about it. And it is what it is. And I can't dwell on it, but we did get some good signings from free agency this summer. We got Julius Randle. We got Taj Gibson. First of all, not bad. We got Marcus Morris. We got Alfred Payton. It's okay. So little by little, baby steps. I mean, I wouldn't say baby steps, but you know what I mean. We're getting there. We're halfway there. Level 2, something like that. I don't know. I don't know what you would consider it as, but I consider it as a next level to getting a little better. Because the first one was just getting a new coach who has a mission to build a team with a higher understanding of a playoff team. So, we've got that from last year, which was Coach David Fizdale. And now, little by little, now we're doing the roster, which is all of these guys that I'm mentioning. So anyways, I said Peyton. We've got Reggie Bullock, um, who I think is very perfect. Came from he played in the Lakers. Had a pretty okay season there. You know, it wasn't the best, but hopefully he could talk our young players into how it feels like to be in a league where you know where guys are gonna like play hard against you and all that. But I'll get into that later. Then we've got Wayne Ellington, who played perfect in Miami with D Wade, and I think he's a perfect fit. We've got Bobby Portis, who also I gotta say he's an awesome player, who also played in Chicago, so not bad. And yeah, I mean that like basically we've got like what? We've got 7 free agents who actually came to this team and said, you know what, we want to help you. Um, and you know what, I really appreciate those veterans coming to New York to help our players, our young players, to actually play the game of New York basketball or just plain old basketball. And also, not to mention, during the NBA draft, before the free agent scene, we've got R.J. Barrett, who was our Plan B since Zion went to New Orleans. And then we've got. Here's the thing, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but we call him by his nickname Iggy. So, yeah, so we've got RJ Barrett, and then we've got Iggy. Hard name to pronounce, his last name, but we call him for short term Iggy. Some Knicks fans or Knicks players, I don't know, uh, whatever, uh, whatever. Anyways, let's talk about the draft and the summer league. So my opinion on the draft, first of all, that was a huge A plus since we had a plan B and we were like, okay, we didn't lose yet, but we didn't get RJ. So now we have to think clearly. What are we gonna do to find I wouldn't say much better person, but you know what? A player who could reach his high potential to be in New York. So who is that player? And I think what Scott Perry and Steve Mills and David Fisdale thought was wow. We think that R.J. Barrett has a good potential to be New York. Not like what Zion did to Duke, but RJ was kind of that, co-captain of Duke. And they were so smart to pick RJ because I'll tell you why. They had that vision of RJ just having that New York like New York style. He had that New York vibe. Like he loves like you could see it in him. He loves New York. He I have a pretty good vision of RJ Barrett. Of him being in New York and playing for New York and bringing that grind and that grit. I just he has a bright future here, and I'm really glad that before we drafted RJ Barrett, he had that vision of being here and you know had that high standards of like what, I love New York, I love the bright lights, I have this and that, and he was so consistent of being in New York, which I'm like we haven't had that player in a really long time. I mean, when was the last time we had a player like that? Exactly, it was Carmelo Anthony who loves New York and he was born here, raised here, and all that. But with RJ, it wasn't like that. It was a twist, and you know what? It really um, it really changes the team's perspective. Because I'm about to sneeze, but I'm trying to hold it in there. Um, we're not trying to build a I, I want to say that we're trying to build a culture, but not like a okay, we're building like we're we're building a big culture. So we're trying to build a team that is like I want to say like a little bit of San Antonio and a little bit of Toronto, but in a New York style. That that's what we're trying to build like. And it's not easy in a way because you have to take it year after year after year. And um, think about it, San Antonio, they built it really slow. They had Tim Duncan, I think, during the 90s. Then little by little, it was um, Manu Ginobili. Then after that, it was uh, Tony Parker, and then little by little, that team, the big three, it just began like building and building and building and building, and right after they got Kawhi Leonard into San Antonio, it just became the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, even though they did win in the '90s against us and we lost against them, and they won and they celebrated in our home court, they still had that culture inside of San Antonio. They still had that grind, and right now it still continues today, but today is way different than comparing it back to the 90s. We're trying to create the same thing, and I think what um, the coaching staff thought about RJ Barrett was so true because he brings I think he's gonna bring a lot to New York, and he loves New York. Um, so that's what I think about RJ. And what I do have to say about Iggy is I don't want to say the same thing, but you could see a lot of toughness in that guy. You could see of how he played in the summer league, and he shows it all. He had 30 points in the summer league, and it was he grinded a lot. He played his heart on that court. During the summer league games against the Lakers, against Toronto, against like all of these teams. And think about it. You always have like you know little points in the summer league because it's not as big as the regular league. The regular season where you have 45 points or something like that, but Iggy showed it all this summer league, and I don't think I don't know if no other Knicks player had a high score in the summer league, the NBA summer league, but he showed it all, and I don't know what game it was that he had 30 points, but he was killing it, like even RJ, but he didn't have like think about it, because he wasn't ready, and um, like he don't get me wrong, he was ready, but it's like he's just like a little nervous, so and I don't know as much as how they practice on the court to off the court, so but I think RJ is gonna have a great regular season, um, and but when Iggy was playing in the summer league, I mean that guy was just killing it. Even look at Mitch and Kevin Knox. Like our team, even though we lost like maybe 4 times, we did get we still grinded, we still hustled, and we were like, listen, even though we lost 4 games, it's not a huge big deal, but we played as a team, and that's all that matters. Because it's the NBA Summer League, and NBA Summer League is like, you play for like a couple of, you know, a couple of games, and then then you gotta adjust to practice in the off season. You see it with C. Barkley, um, and all these guys during the workouts. I can't show them the videos, but you know what I mean. And it shows that these guys actually do practice a lot. So but I can't wait to see both of them play. And you know, um, yeah, I mean, basically, it's gonna be exciting, to see these two guys play, and even the newer guys, the new veterans, Bobby Portis and all these guys, RJ, no, not RJ, yeah, no, JR, and then you've got RJ, but J, R, JR, Taj Gibson, Marcus Morris, and all of these guys, like basically, I can't wait to see that team play. Like, I can't wait to see that team play, Even though, we didn't get Kevin Durant or Kyrie, we still have a good team. I just want to let you guys know, when I was watching when I was watching a video on our assistant coach, I forgot his name, but he's the first American Mexican assistant coach, and he has such an interesting background of coaching in the NBA, and he has no professional background experience, like playing wise, and I want to say that the reason why I think it's good, and I watched this from another video, um, Nothing But Knicks, and I um, the reason why I agree with Nothing But Knicks because of what he said about the assistant coach of first of all we have we have a young roster, like not a lot, but we have a little we have like some young players in our team, like RJ and Iggy, and who else? We've got Kevin Knox, we have Mitchell, and we have all of these guys who are like 19 years old and 20. Like some of these guys are even my age, so it's like, and we bring in a coach like him because he has a background experience where he coached in high school teams, and little by little he became a good ass like what I think is that I agree with Nothing But Knicks, and he said that um, the reason why we should have a coach like this is because he could teach a lot of our young players of how to play um, the game of basketball. Like how could they defend more, and it combines with um, it combines like how the veterans could assist of being a good teammate to all of these young players like um, RJ and uh, no, I always mess it up. JR and Taj Gibson and all, like these guys could help RJ, Iggy, Mitchell, and Knox, like become much better players, and it brings such a good like it brings a good I don't know how to explain it, but it brings good value to this team. Like bringing in a young coach who coached in high school and just bringing him to the NBA little by little, and um, it brings a good it's just a good coaching staff because he has a background experience of coaching in high school and then going to Portland, being an assistant coach, and then little by little, he starts to become a coach in I don't know what it was, but I think it was like three years in Portland, and Then from there, he went to a couple of teams in the NBA, and then next thing you know, he came here to New York. Um, and I think he has a lot that I think he has a lot of advice for these young players on our team. And I've got to say that the same thing goes for our veterans that signed with us this year. Um, and I think it's a really good idea. I think it's an awesome idea of these veterans rosters that are. I hope they assist Mitchell and all of these guys because first of all they're young and um, they came to the NBA very young, so it's not easy to adjust to the style of the NBA plays and how the toughness goes here in the NBA, but it shows like that these veterans have more like they know what it's like to play in the NBA, and I think that when they share it to Mitch and all these guys, it's gonna bring some um, good points, like uh, good information for some of these guys. And I think that our assistant coach is gonna, you know, grab some little like I think that he's gonna grab some tips little by little for Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, and all of these guys. Because I think some of these guys have their high standards of being in this team. So you know yeah. But I'm really proud of what we've done as a team. Just grabbing veterans and then grabbing some young guys from the draft, and also Kevin Knox from last year, Mitchell, and all of these guys. Because what I basically think is that we're gonna build this team little by little, and it's not gonna take. It's not gonna be as fast as you seem. It's not gonna be as fast as it seems, but it's gonna be a little process. So it's gonna start off very small, and then little by little it's gonna expand. It doesn't like. Sorry about that, guys, but being a playoff team, the video got cut off, so that's why I'm saying. Sorry about that. But being a playoff team that you grab like young players like RJ and Iggy, it takes time. That you build a team that was first very good, because think about it. At first, when it was 2000, like when we played so good with Carl Anthony, Amar Stoudemire, and Tyson Chandler back in 13, we were so good. We were really good. We had maybe like I don't know how many veterans, but we were so good, and we were on this playoff run with Mike Woodson, and then later on, it was just Phil Jackson just destroying the team, and now you see us, with Scott Perry and Steve Mills, creating this new vibe of New York basketball. So now, like, it takes time to create a playoff team back to where it was from the start. So we're trying to create like I don't want to say baby steps, but little steps in a way. So yeah. But what I'm basically trying to say is that it's gonna take some time, and we shouldn't be in a rush. Let's look at the schedule that we have coming up soon for the New York Knicks, because it's gonna be a pretty exciting season. So for the preseason, we've got we're going to Washington to go against the Washington Wizards. Then we're coming back home to play again against Washington. Then we are playing against the Atlanta Hawks. And then the biggest game of them all is New Orleans. And that's a game I really cannot wait. And I'll tell you why, because first of all, who cannot forget the two teammates that were so, you know, um, that were so connected to each other. Now they're going head to head. You know, Zion versus RJ. So I really can't wait to see that. But anyways, let's go right now to the regular season. So we've got San Antonio. We're going to San Antonio. Then we are going to see Kyrie Irving. Are you kidding me? Which is kind of sad because we're going to Brooklyn. Then we are going back home to verse the Boston Celtics, and we'll see Enes Kanter, who I hope we win against Boston. Then we are going to play against the Chicago Bulls. And then we are going to play against the Orlando Magic in Orlando, and then we're going to the TD Garden. I always forget if it's IT or TD. And let's get to the exciting games. On November 8th, we are going to see the person who betrayed us, Kristaps Porzingis, and we're actually going to go see him on his home court, his new home court, which is the Dallas Mavericks, on November 8th. That's a Friday, so make sure to, be ready with your popcorn or whatever it is, and yeah. And let's see what else. Then we are going to play against Cleveland. So we're going back home to play against Cleveland. Then we are going back on the road to Chicago to play against the Bulls. And then we are going to play Kristaps again, but on November 14th. So he's coming back home to the Garden on November 14th. By the way, we're playing against Cleveland. I don't know if I said this before, but we're playing against Cleveland on November 10th. On November 12th is Chicago, and then November 14th is the Dallas Mavericks. So just a little brief, and then yeah, the list goes on and on. So I'll put the link down below. So because I don't want to read all of this, schedule. It's long, but and sadly we don't have Christmas Day. We're not playing on Christmas Day, which is a tear to my eye, but whatever. And then and then I want to share my starting lineups. So this is who I think is my starting lineups. I think Elfrid Payton is going to be in one of them. I think he's going to be, I don't know how it really starts, but I think it's going to be Elfrid Payton. It's going to be Dennis Smith Jr., Kevin Knox, Julius Randle, and then Mitchell Robinson. And that's just for now because I want to see what coach has to put on for the starting lineups this offseason and the preseason. But it's going to be a little interesting because I'll tell you what, we've got hard teams that we're going to be playing against because we're going to be playing against Kyrie Irving, and we're going to be playing up against all of these, hard guys like Philadelphia and Joel Embiid, and and it's just going to be hard for us, it's not going to be easy. It's like what I said before, it's not going to be easy that we're going to beat all of these teams and just play, play aggressive. Like it takes time. So but I want to see what Coach Fizdale has up on his sleeves. So it's gonna be a little interesting of how he's gonna put on his starting five. But for sure, I'm assuming that he's gonna put Kevin Knox. You know what? I don't want to say that maybe he'll put RJ, but I want to. You know what? My second opinion is that maybe he'll put Kevin Knox, RJ, and maybe Alfred Payton. So it would probably go like Alfred Payton, RJ, Knox, Julius, and then Mitchell. So maybe something like that. That's gonna be my second opinion. But let's see what Coach Fizdale has up on his sleeves for our starting five for this year. So, that's really what I'm predicting. And yeah, that's really about it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Um, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share it. Share it with your dog, your cat, your uncle who's a diehard Knicks fan since 1970. Where Walt Clyde Frazier won the championship with Willis Reed. Or share it with your brother, your sister, your dad, your mom, your friends. You get the point. Just share it, Share it, spread out the rumor, or not the rumor, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And yeah, that's really much about it. And also, guys, I also said at the beginning of the beginning of this show that I had something special to tell you guys, and that is that I now have a podcast show, and I'm going to be talking about on the podcast what I basically talk about here on this channel, but in audio format, because I'm usually not I usually cannot make videos like I really do often, but I'm gonna try to pull up a lot of videos. I'm gonna try to make some more videos as often, because think about it, I've got a lot of things up my sleeve, so yeah. But I do have my podcast, so that way you cannot miss a bit of what's going on with the Knicks, with the NBA in general. So I'll be talking about those things too. But make sure to check that out. It's called the Yaron Show podcast. You could also download the show sometimes if you're on the airplane traveling to somewhere. And yeah, make sure to also follow that show. And yeah, make sure to also like, subscribe on this show as well. And yeah, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and my website. And yeah. Anyways, guys, peace.